And here we go. What's going on, y'all? All right. Welcome to the Recruiting Ain't Easy podcast. I'm your host with the most, Louis Swartz. And if you're looking to join the Army as a whole or to prepare yourselves for Army basic training, I got you. My mission here on Team Swartz is to help you navigate the joining process for the U.S. Army so that you can make a well-informed decision for whatever your reasons are. All right. And if it would be a good fit for you for not, and all that good stuff. All right. So with that being said, I'm going to skip all this mumbo jumbo, but really quick disclaimer here, because I want to get started early tonight. So I make sure I get to all of you. By day, yes, I am a full-time recruiter for the New York Army National Guard and a part-time drill sergeant in New York City. But on my free time, I come on here to help you make the best decision for yourself. All right, with the most up-to-date and accurate information, and to prepare yourselves for basic training, both mentally and physically. I represent myself, Louis, and this is my personal page. Anything expressed here and within my videos are based on that of my own experiences, opinions, views, insights, and that of others, which means that this is not supported, endorsed, or sponsored by DOD, the United States Army, the Army National Guard, or any other government entity for that matter. All right. So if this is your first time here, welcome. Thank you for tuning in, and consider subscribing, hitting that bell icon so you don't miss any time I go live or when I post new videos and so on. All right. Comment in the chat box which state you are tuning in from. All right. And again, thank you for checking this out. For my loyal Team Swartz squad members, you already know what to do. Drop that hashtag Team Swartz down below. I love you. All right. For you new folks tuning in, please refrain from repeating any questions or comments, because I do not skip any questions on purpose. I may accidentally, but politely once repeat the question if you think that I did miss you and whatever. But if for some reason you're using a keyword or a phrase that I have blocked, it won't show up sometimes on my end. Sometimes it gives me the option to approve it or whatever. But with that being said, we're going to get right into it. All right. I go down, work myself from the oldest comment, working to my latest and greatest comment. All right. The only exception to this rule is when I get a paid super chat or a tip. After finalizing the comment I'm currently on, I will then highlight the super chat immediately and respond to them and give them a little extra time or effort in their response, instead of not necessarily speeding through it, but a little bit more elaborate than usual. But with that being said, I'll then return to where I last left off. Furthermore, keeping the comments clean and respectful, or you will be set to timeout, or worst case scenario, shadow banned, blocked, basically. All right. With separate conversations going on within the chat box, do me a huge favor and begin your comment with a Q. I say Q, meaning question. That's a cue for me to know that you are directing it to me. That way I can just skip through the sidebar conversations going on with the chat box that could, take up extra space and time to me get to the people who are really looking for my attention. All right. So that being said, this just helps out the whole process and to help me help as many people as possible. With that said, let's get started with the show. Coming in. Oh, let me turn on some music, set the tone a little bit. All right. We got the Feeding Ducks is what I usually listen to. Set it at 25%. All right. Here we go. Starting in with Braxter. All right. You just sent me a question mark. I have no clue what you're asking me. If there was another comment before this, it's blocked or didn't make it to the stream. So please go ahead and resubmit your question and I got you. All right. We got, I don't know, coming in from Game Kylia. We have a Luis Rodriguez. What's up, man? With the hashtag Team Swartz. First one of the evening. Hope you and your family are doing well. Dropping in the show to support as always. Question: is it true National Guard soldiers are not considered veterans unless they serve at least 180 days? I'm not sure what you mean by SAD or deployment and NGB 22, same DDT 14. All right. So it doesn't matter if you're in the Guard, Reserve, or active duty. Okay. there are different, how do I explain this? I guess it's kind of like, depending on where you're coming from, it's different status as a veteran. So like, if you're applying to a job and it asks, are you a veteran? Because you're currently serving or have previously served, then yes, you're going to check the box that you are a veteran. Okay. That doesn't mean that you're a combat veteran or a retiree. And there are other statuses of veteran that one could become eligible for specific programs, like the Veterans Affairs home loan and the small business loan, both in which, as a active duty regular Army or full-time military, basically you have to do 90 consecutive days of qualifying federal active duty service other than your initial entry training to qualify for that benefit. If you're a guard or reserve, then you have to do 6 years part-time to then get that eligibility to qualify for the VA home loan or the VA small business loan. All right. And if you want to be considered a retiree veteran, then you have to do 20 years of service and earn your retirement to then also get a retiree ID card that you could use to continue your benefits, shopping at the commissary or the post exchange, or the PX for short, and have access to the military base or any military installation, and possibly use the gym and so on and so forth. All right, but that's the lowdown of that. So when you are ever full-time on active federal active duty service and you separate from active duty, then you're going to get a DD-214, which is your official discharge document. SAD, state active duty, which you just said in the super chat, appreciate you. I'm not going to highlight it just because there's no real response from that, but I appreciate you as always. All right. Now, with that being said, when you leave the Army Reserve, you're going to get discharge orders. Okay. In the National Guard, you're going to get discharge orders and a NGB 22, which is equivalent to kind of like the DD-214. Now, rumor mill has it that they're trying to work it out so that whether you're Guard, Reserve, or active duty, we all get DD-214s when we leave. And I'm pretty sure, I'm anticipating that they're going to somehow revamp the current version of the DD-214 to somehow adhere to the new standard of, you know, accounting for any reserve or guard time. But good question. I like that. It's not something I get on here often, so it's really, really good. I appreciate it. Read it on the National Guard Reddit forum. Don't think it's true, so I'll ask knowledgeable source known as Team Swartz, and I'll definitely see you soon. Well, I'm looking forward to it, and be careful with Reddit. So here's the thing, right? If it's a recruiting related thing, as much as I appreciate people in Reddit and other forums, unless they have previously served as a recruiter, or better yet, currently serving as a recruiter, they're not going to be privy or knowledgeable of the policies, regulations, and the guidance that we have to effectively and legally recruit somebody into the United States military. So they mean well most of the time, but they're not necessarily knowledgeable in everything that they talk about. Some of the things that they talk about are hearsay. So just take that with a grain of salt. And again, what you're doing is checking in with somebody who's going to shoot it straight with you. All right. But really, really good question. And I'll see you soon. We got Christopher Galovich, which says, my doctor said I could join the Army if I get reevaluation. My doctor said I could join the Army if I got reevaluation of my bipolar disorder, saying that it's gone. Is that true? Really, really good question. There's a lot that goes into that, but I'm going to post here. It's also linked down below in the chat box. I mean, the description area. Okay. Let me see if I can figure out how to set this up real quick, so it makes it easier. Here we go. All right. That should work better. Outstanding. All right. And if somebody calls me the GOAT tonight, I got a little surprise tonight. A little something to make it laugh a little bit. But anyway. All right. So check out that medical waiver guide that I just posted. It adds tips, insights, so that you understand the whole entire medical waiver process. But yes, you are going to need a waiver. You're going to need an all clear letter and an updated evaluation, which you just said. So definitely go check out that video. I don't specifically talk about bipolar, but that will fall under mental health, under like the depression, the anxiety area. So go check out those sections of the video, but watch the entire video so that you can be well informed of the process and help out your recruiter by getting the appropriate things done to increase your probability of your medical waiver getting approved. So I appreciate that. Somebody just put goat. I don't know if you can hear that. Long story short, we have a new recruiter on our team, and I saw this on her desk, and I ended up not scrambling, but going through Amazon. I finally found it. But yeah. Anyway, I crack myself up sometimes, but hopefully that video helps you out. And yeah, so it depends on the details, the diagnosis, if you are on medication, what was the dosage, how long were you on it, all the details throughout that entire process. So definitely go check that out. We got Bilvik with the how long does it take to get a waiver approved. I went for my eye consult 2 weeks ago on the 22nd. All right, Bilvik, I'm not sure which MEPS you're processing out of, but I'll put it to you this way. I'll put it in a way where I won't get in trouble, but I'll just simply say this. MEPS is a hot mess right now. Hot mess. Don't even get me started. If I didn't have goals after I retire to do certain things, I'll just say I would do a dedicated roast to MEPS. But yeah, it's a hot mess. All I can say is do your best to stay motivated and dedicated to the cause. Remember your why you're doing this, you know, and it's frustrating, not only for you guys, but it's frustrating for us recruiters, because like sales, we always got somebody behind us. Yo, when's your next enlistment? When's your next enlistment? So we got that monkey on our backs too. Okay. But I can promise you that if you're otherwise eligible to join, or you could potentially qualify for a medical waiver, as your recruiter, we're doing everything we can to get you there. I have so many issues with MEPS right now with multiple applicants. If I had any hair left, I'm pretty sure I would have pulled it out by now. I'll just put it to you that way. And that is the nicest way I could put it. So hang in there. May the MEPS gods forever be in your favor. But I do appreciate your question. We got the hashtag Team Swords coming in from M Lightning. What's up, man? Welcome back to the stream. We got Hyper Dunk 1. Can I take my AirPods to basic training? You can, but you're not going to be able to use them during basic, or at least until the batteries die. And if you watch my basic training packing video, I talk about why you should not bring them. Now you could bring them so you can be able to use them in AIT, right? But during basic, you're gonna want the wired kind, because you don't have to worry about battery power. And I got some other helpful tips in that video too, so be sure to go check that out. Appreciate you. All right, so we got Sarah with the when are you bringing ROTC person to answer questions? All right, Sarah, I appreciate that. Calling me out on a promise that I've yet to deliver. I'll reach out to that sergeant upstate and see if he'd be willing to do something later this month. But be sure to direct message me your questions on Instagram at Team Swartz. I'll post a link right here. All right, or you can email me at teamswartzmedia@gmail.com. Okay. But I'm going to come back to House of Bodega, but real quick, vibes with the Team Swartz coming in from Henry Jr. Appreciate you. All right. House of Bodega, I'm going to come back to you, okay? All right, so we just got a super chat coming in from Hiram Befitum. Appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. As always, it goes a really long way. And of course, I reinvest it back into this channel. So with that being said, does the United States Army and any given National Guard use or allow Belleville 390 tropical I'm assuming boots, because Belleville is a boot company or shoe company. And it says, reason being is I'm stuck buying a pair of 700V, are on long back order. Okay. You're talking about boots, right? I'll tell you what, direct message me or email me at Team Swartz on Instagram or teamswartzmedia@gmail.com. The link to the boots in question, as long as it's coyote brown and is actual genuine leather, along with some other criteria, it should be in accordance with AR 670-1, which is the Army regulation for the military wear and appearance of clothing like boots. Okay, but as long as it's coyote brown, genuine leather, then you should be good to go. All right, but I'll do you that solid. Send me that message with the link and I'll check it out for you and give you my honest feedback. All right, appreciate you. Oh, I see South Jersey Artisan made it to the show today. Also a channel member. Appreciate you. I got some stuff in storage for you guys. I decided to do something, so you guys will be getting things more than other people on the channel. But I'm just going back up here to see where I last left off. I guess I didn't start, so hang on. Let me look for it. Here we go. House of Bodega. Here we go. All right. I am over 30 years old, and I am from New York City. I passed the ASVAB and the D-Lab. Am I too old for the Army? No. Age is just a number. In fact, I have a video just for you. Oh, wrong video. Let me X out of that. It's about joining at an older age, and I talk about some of the pros of being older and why it's actually better for you for being older while going through basic training. All right, but age is literally just a number. But I would definitely work out to get a basic level of physical fitness, with the primary focus being on running. Aside from that, you're going to be just fine. Don't worry about it. Now, tell me about why you're taking the D-Lab. What is your goal? What MOS or opportunity are you shooting for? Is it some sort of Intel 35 series? That's usually the most common one. Let me know in the chat box. Appreciate you. Here we go. We got South Jersey Artisan, one of my graphic designers that's always helping me out. And I'm going to reach out to you, man. I want to rebrand the page with the colors of primarily being black, yellow, and like a dark gray. I have a couple of design ideas in my head, and I'll definitely reach out to you so we can redo that. Appreciate you. All right. And then we got Bilvic. If a vision waiver gets denied, is there any chance of me still enlisting? If it's denied, no. Now, I'm not sure what you mean by vision. Like, are you like legally blind, or how do I say this? Like, is it for astigmatism? Is it for myopia? Is it for glaucoma? What was the vision waiver for? Appreciate you. Wesley Edwards with the hashtag Team Swartz, tuning in from Mississippi. That's what I'm talking about. Appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. We got 910 Islander says, are we allowed to bring a bonnet to basic? I have very unruly mixed hair, and if I can get hectic with that one. I'm confusing bonnet with something else, so let me just Google that real quick. What is a bonnet? A woman or child's hat tied under the chin. Yeah, no. That would be a no-go at this station. The only thing you're allowed to use is a hair tie that matches as close to your hair color as possible. That's all you can use to tie up your hair in a bun or in a ponytail. Now, during basic training, you'll be restricted to a bun, right, until you get to AIT or complete your OSA. The reason being is you're in a training environment. That's why males have like a standard crew cut haircut. Well, we're always clean shaven, unfortunately, but hopefully they change that in the future. But yes, to answer your question, you have to have the hair tie to your hair color, and that's it, unfortunately. You might be able to use clips, but probably not in basic training. AIT you could. 35 whiskey coming in from House of Bodega. Yeah. Did you pass the D-Lab? Did you get the minimum score required? And are you going reserve or regular Army? Merck says, can you explain the bonus payout? So with this question, it's going to depend on whether you're going regular Army, if you're going Army Reserve, or the Army National Guard. And the current incentives policies are regularly changing on at least a quarterly basis. All right. And with that being said, if you are eligible for a bonus and you sign for one on the day that you contracted, you sign an actual document called a bonus addendum. Go and read that, because the bonus addendum is going to tell you everything and anything about this bonus, what you need to do to remain in good standing. And if you fail to be in good standing, these are the steps that they're going to take to cancel your bonus, to possibly recoup and take back the prorated rate of the unserved portion of the non-compliant status of your bonus. Right? So for example, let's say you signed a 6-year contract, you got 20,000, you got 10,000 up front, and you're right around the end of the 3rd year. That means they would cancel your bonus, and let's say it was split up in 2 payments, like I said. So usually on like the 4th year anniversary, you'll get your second half of the bonus. At this point, because you're not in good standing, they will cancel your bonus. They won't recoup for the first 3 years because you already completed that time, but you're not going to get your second half in this example. But I will refer you to your actual bonus addendum for the updated how-to and instructions to maintain in good standing for your bonus. Okay. But good question. All right. So EKD123, I will get back to you in 1 minute. I got a super chat coming in from Super Friday. All right. Let me add that. Does the Army offer flight school? Yes, it does for the eligible. And you could be a complete civilian, or you could be already in the service. Okay. In the Army, if you're a non-prior service member coming in, or even prior service, and you apply for something like that, it's called street to seat. And it does help that if you have some sort of aeronautical education, whether you have an actual college degree, have completed classes, if you have your drone license, which is your FAA Part 107 drone license, right? Or certificate. And, that all helps during the board, and you have to sell yourself in the board. If approved, then you can join as a warrant officer candidate. So what will happen is you go through your normal recruiter, you'll complete Army basic training. Providing you pass that, you'll go to WOC, Warrant Officer Candidate School, or WOCS rather. And upon completing that, then you'll go to flight school. So it's a very lengthy process. And also understand, if you do go that route, and that's something you definitely want to do, then understand it's going to be a 10-year minimum commitment. That is going to be your only contract option. 10 years, nothing less than that. Say again, 10 years. Awesome, epic. Hope you get it. But yeah. All right, so just scrolling up to where I last left off. Okay, EKD. My medical waiver finally got approved. It took like 5 months of dedication, but I got it. I swear in Monday. Don't give up, friends. Absolutely. In fact, I started with someone, I want to say, actually, oh no, my phone is over here. Let me see if it's on my phone. I want to say like July, and his waiver just got approved. All right, it's not on this phone. All right, so yeah, it was around July, and his waiver just got approved. All right, so yes, if you stay the course, you follow my tips, you got a recruiter who will back you up and do everything they possibly can to get your waiver approved, you should be golden. All right, your recruiter won't work with you if you legitimately won't qualify. Okay, but it is a lengthy process. We're gonna have to exercise extreme patience and get everything that you possibly can. It's going to support your cause and your request to give you the most favorable assessments and approval, okay? Or chance for approval. But congratulations. Team Wilbob, what's going on, man? You're from, oh man, hang on. I forgot what state. Hang on. Illinois, I think. Illinois. This is Team Will Bob. He started a YouTube channel. He's got a lot of good immigration stuff if you want to go watch that. He needs to do more videos, honestly. But yeah, welcome to the stream, man. Appreciate you. M Lightning H, what are your thoughts of potential recruits focusing on muscle endurance leading up to leaving for basic? Yes, my thoughts are exactly in this video here. Oh shoot, clicked the wrong thing. All right, so basic training prep. Yes, I agree with you. Not necessarily muscular endurance, but yes, it is based on muscular endurance. Oh, Washington. Oh, my bad, your fault. And just to specify, he is a Army National Guard recruiter for the state of Washington. All right, very good guy, genuinely cares for his soldiers, and he's got very good customer care basically after you join. All right, and with that being said, I recommend that you run more than anything. But yes, run 3 days a week, and on the opposite days, do a strength training workout with just your body. All right, in that description of the video I just posted about how to prepare for basic training, has a 90-day workout program. Just omit or disregard the weightlifting days and just stick to the body weight exercises for 3 days a week, and primarily focus on your running. So if you have the choice of being lazy and unmotivated on a workout day, make sure that's on a strength and endurance day, or strength and mobility day. But make sure you do your running before you leave. That's the biggest important task to prepare for before leaving. All right, we got Henry with the congrats, waiting on my mic to get approved. Oh, waiting for yours to get approved. Cool. Eric says, my recruiter says he can start me off as an E2. He says it's some paperwork, but he promises it can be done. Is this true? So I'm not sure if they're going to illegally give you the stripes for skills thing and just pass you, but some ways to get promoted after you join are, or at time of enlistment first. All right, so at time of enlistment, if you have 24 college credits, you'll come in as a private E2. If you have 48 or more college credits or a 2-year degree, you'll come in as a private first class E3. If you come in with a 4-year degree, you're gonna join as a specialist E4, which is the highest rank possible, regardless if you have a master's or greater. All right, that is how you get ranked before going in. Another way you can get ranked by going in is, let's say on the outside, these are just 2 examples of many, but 68 whiskey, combat medic. Then if you have your national federal certification as a basic EMT, you can go and join as a 68 whiskey, leveraging the CASP, Civilian Acquired Skills Program. That will essentially shorten your job training requirements by omitting or eliminating the civilian training portion, and you go straight into the Army medical training. And for another one is 88 Mike, motor transport. If you have a specific CDL license and whatever experience that the schoolhouse accepts, again, you'll join using the Civilian Acquired Skills Program, and it may shorten your training pipeline. But again, you'll be joining as a specialist E4 with no education for both of these options and possibly other MOSs. They recently increased it to add more MOSs, but I'm not too familiar with those. I didn't really look into it too much, but I'm just being honest and upfront with you. But yeah, that's it. Now, after you join, you can get stripes for skills, which in my how to prepare for basic training, I talk about that specifically. I also have the study guide for you that you can download to get ready for that test. Also, you're gonna have to pass the Army Combat Fitness Test, which may be challenging for many of you. Okay, and that will advance you in only up to E2. Now, stripes for buddies can get you promoted or advance in rank up to specialist E4 before you even ship out. Okay, and because of this whole recruiting crisis, the federal award for recruiting somebody can get you promoted up to specialist post training, where before all these referrals had to contract prior to you joining. Just take some time to verify, and they have to ship. If they don't ship out the training, then you don't get credit for that referral, even if they signed. All right. But yeah, those are some of the ways. Munchies, sir, once I graduate 19 Delta, when do I get my first and Spurs? I think that may be a unit level thing. I'm not too sure. We don't have any 19 Deltas in my school, or in my state. But if there are any other active duty recruiters in here, or former active duty, like South Jersey Artisan, if you're still here, if you could tackle that for me, if you haven't already, that would be perfect. So just so you guys are tracking, South Jersey Artisan, who commented in here earlier with hashtag Team Swords, he's a former regular Army recruiter. So he usually helps me out with some of these active duty questions like this. And Guard too, but we don't have any in my state, so I'm not too knowledgeable in that area. But if it's important to you, I can always get back to you on Team Swartz on Instagram. I got you. Okay. Murk says, I'm going in for National Guard. Is it possible to volunteer for deployment, and what is that process like? So I'm going to drop a video you should definitely go check out. It's the full-time Army National Guard and Reserve opportunities, and there are several. One of them is to volunteer for deployment using and leveraging the website called Tour of Duty that you'll have to, at this time, unless it changes in the future like they're talking about, is called Tour of Duty. You can look at deployments within your state, or you can look at things at the national level who are looking for your particular MOS at your pay grade or rank, and you can go with them on that. Okay. Now, it could be a little bit easier if it's within your state, because they're always looking for volunteers, and people usually do. Hit send. Coming in the chat box right now, coming in hot and heavy. It's also linked down below in the description for you. Good question, and thank you very much. All right, so Sarah says, as a college student, do I have to go to basic during the summer? Also, do they start at a certain month, or could I pick like I go in July instead of early summer? All right, really, really good question. All right, thank you for the assist there, South Jersey Artisan. I appreciate that on that one. All right, so Sarah, as college students, all right, you're talking about the split training option. All right, I actually have a whole video, a deep dive on this split training option video. Here we go. Coming in the chat box. It's also linked down below that will go over it in more detail. However, yes, if you're currently registered for the upcoming semester, it's possible to get an exception to policy or an ETP to ship out for basic training after the next semester. So like right now you're in the spring semester, and if for some reason you already were eligible to register for the fall semester, then this summer you would be scheduled to complete your basic training depending on the dates that you finished the current semester and when the next semester, in this case the fall semester, begins. You'll have a mandatory return date. So as long as they can squeeze in your basic training experience between those two semesters, you're going to be golden, and you'll be able to do a split training option. But unlike high school students, in college we can only guarantee you that for as a college student, once you complete your fall semester, like there's no spring semester. Like you're gonna have to go and complete your advanced individual training and get MOS qualified. All right, it's a little bit different for high school students, a little more lucrative in some ways, but that's how it works. The video will go more in detail, and I appreciate that question. I don't get that a lot. All right. All right, we got Young Savage with the hashtag Team Swartz. Appreciate you. And Reddit has some energy for real. Yeah, man, there's a lot of bro vets out there that are disgruntled and, you know, a lot of opinions, but sometimes can't back it up with the knowledge or the experience. They can talk about their experience on certain aspects, but if they're not a recruiter or former recruiter, it's not such a good idea to take everything what they say is fact. Okay. All right. Appreciate you. Angel says flag and medical. I think it's, I can't really see it so small. Brazilian flag maybe, but appreciate you tuning in. Thank you. We got Gabe says, how many waivers is too many waivers? I require 4 waivers, tattoo and moral. Oh, 3 tattoo waivers? No, it's 1 waiver for your tattoos and 1 more waiver. So that's 2 waivers. And it could be like Pokemon. You can collect them all. As long as they all get approved, guess what? You'll be in there like swimwear before you know it. Justin Miller just joined the Guard as a 09 Sierra. Those of you who don't know, that's OCS, or Officer Candidate School Program, to be a commissioned officer. And had my first drill last week in my area RSP group, which is the Recruit Sustainment Program exclusively for the Army National Guard. And I was told that my next drill would be going to join the other 09 Sierras at a different location. What will be different? They are preparing you for OCS, going through op orders and all that stuff that officers are going to be required to do and be familiar with when they graduate and all that good stuff. So they're basically just preparing you for OCS training. You're going to be doing ruck marches. At least this is what our area does. So we're going to be rucking. We're going to be working out. We're going to be teaching you officer related stuff, things that you're going to be tested on heavily and need a lot of help with, because you're typically going to be a non-prior service member who's never served a day in the Army. So there's going to be a slight learning curve, but it's for good reason. Like, we want to increase your probability of passing OCS and actually earning your commission. So it's a good thing. All right. And lightning with the goats. I remember that. LA Rams fan, or LA Rams fan rather. Is it true that the calculators might be used on the ASVAB? That is a no-go at this station. Currently, during the ASVAB, you are not any military entrance exam for that matter, you're not allowed to use the calculator. There is a small pilot program going on right now where they are looking into people actually using the calculator in the ASVAB, and so they have a control group with calculators and a control group without calculators, and they see how, I guess that's why it's called a pilot program. They're testing it out, and hopefully between you and me, like, you could have a tool like a calculator, but if you don't know how to use the tool, and like you don't know the steps and the formulas and all that stuff, like, that tool is useless. So that's why I'm all for calculators. I would have scored a lot higher on the test if I could use a calculator, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, as of right now, not authorized. That could change in the future. All right. Migs, can my girlfriend live on base with me since we have a kid together, or do we have to be married? Unfortunately, you're gonna have to be married, and you can't join regular Army if you're a single parent. So just so you're tracking. $72 something with the hashtag Team Swartz, best U.S. Army YouTuber. Thank you for all your guidance. So I appreciate you, 72 Murrow something or other. But I appreciate that. Thank you very much. And real quick in the chat, how do you guys like it being brighter in here? Do you think it's clearer and better than having it like that dark and moody look? I feel like because it's at 1080 on YouTube that it's too grainy. Like, it doesn't quite look as good. Let me know how you like it with the lights. Appreciate the feedback. How does, oh yeah, it is there. It's all right. I clicked on something and lost my spot here. Give me a second to figure out where I am. Here we go. I'm getting close. All right, here we go. Wesley Edwards asks, advice on the blood pressure reevaluation. Get one and bring, I think BP stands for blood pressure. Correct me wrong over here. All right, so so yeah, I'm pretty sure that's blood pressure. MES will schedule you for a consult. They will send you the time and date in the automated message. I just went through it, waiting now. All right, cool. Yeah, I didn't know that they do consultations for blood pressure. We usually just send you to your doctor and for either 2 or 3 days, whatever the updated guidance is. But sometimes it's twice a day, sometimes it's 3 times a day. But MEPS will tell your recruiter to relay that information to you on what the requirements are. So if you can't afford to go to your doctor, you don't have insurance, right? And you don't want to wait for that consultation, I would say if you can get it somehow in writing by a paramedic or an EMT at your local firehouse, depending on if like you're in a rural area or if you're in New York City and the FDNY is willing to entertain you with their paramedics, then yeah, follow the guidelines of 2 or 3 times a day at those locations, and you can get those done for free there. But you're more than welcome to use the MEPS consultation for sure. Oh, I was wrong. It's a misdiagnosed bipolar. Oh, okay. Yeah, so unfortunately, you're going to have to go through my medical waiver guide that I mentioned earlier. I'm not sure if you were here for that, but I'm going to put it in the chat box in case you haven't seen it yet. But that falls under the mental health, kind of like the anxiety and the depression. Follow those same tips and everything. But yes, you're definitely going to need an updated evaluation and an all clear letter as described in the video. Excuse me. And all the other records that I talk about within the video. So we got Matt H. Any issues on being a bone marrow donor registry when enlisting? As long as, I mean, I'm not a medical professional here, but there may be like a recovery time from the last time you donated bone marrow. Like if you're the donor, not the donee, but like if you're a donor, whatever that time frame is before you could donate again, that time probably has to surpass before you could request to do a medical exam at MEPS. But follow my guide on the medical waiver and obtain those records. It's not an issue that you're a bone marrow donor, but props to you. I think that's awesome and very honorable of you to do that. I don't honestly think it would be an issue, but it may prompt a medical waiver, unfortunately, because, well, let's just say MEPS sucks, but it is what it is. Well, it's not really MEPS, it's DOD. But Hyperdunk says, can I get a shaving profile before basic training? Somebody asked me this question last week, I believe, or the week before that, but no, that is a hard pass. You're gonna have to get that at the training site. And when you're done with the training site and you go to your home of record or your first duty station for you regular Army, full-time Army people, you're gonna have to redo that dermatologist evaluation and reapply for your shaving profile. Wesley Edwards says, also question, can you bring your own boots to basic training if I wear them at reception? You could bring them with you, but you're going to have to wear the standard issue for at least a few weeks until your local leadership or drill sergeants authorize you to switch to another pair that you may have broken in that may be different. But everybody's going to be wearing whatever is issued to you. And worst case scenario, once you graduate from basic training and you go to your AIT or the black and gold phase of OSUT, one station unit training for you combat folks like infantry, Cav Scouts, field artillery, military police, then like I said, when it gets to the job specific portion of your training, black and gold phase, then you could switch over to aftermarket third party in compliance boots with AR Army Regulation 670-1. All right. LA Rams fan says, are you guys using calculators for the ASVAB in 2024? The answer is no. Yeah, no entiende, hablo inglés, hablo español, poquito de español, muy poquito, not enough. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're gonna have to translate into English, por favor. All right. So we got Josh Borden. But Angel, Dios bendiga. Thank you. All right, Josh Borden wanted to clarify this issue. If I have an RE4 re-enlistment code from the Army, is there a waiver currently come back into the active Army? Should I even try or just get to another branch? Now, oh, hang on. Thanks for what you do, everyone. Hope that you are paying I hope they are paying you extra. No, I don't get paid extra for this. I do this out of the kindness of my own heart. I love helping people. That's why I'm here. But enough about me. Let's help you. All right. Under normal circumstances, an RE4 from the Army would prohibit you from coming back into the Army. I recently was reached out by somebody in the direct messages from them going active duty, and they approved, they overturned, or not overturned, but they approved his RE4 waiver, and he's now going regular Army full-time active duty. So it is a possibility, and we can always request an exception to any policy, but it really boils down to your discharge packet. What was the narrative reason for separation, and the SPD code, which usually mirrors your narrative. So the discharge packet is going to give us the total soldier concept of what happened, what went down, what prompted them to discharge you. And depending on what you've done since you've been discharged to now, to show that you've learned from that experience and that you grew, that you have goals and aspirations and you're doing great things, then yes, it's a small possibility that they could entertain your waiver and approve it. Small chance, but if you find a recruiter that's willing to help you out, go for it. If that recruiter is not willing to help you out, see if you can find another one, and you could just let them know that I was told through a DM that someone actually got approved. So just do it. And if the recruiter is reluctant to do it, my advice to you, and this goes for anybody that may be not qualified and are looking to get the ball rolling, and the recruiter is like, I don't want to schedule you right now, or whatever the case may be like, cool, I get it. I'm not qualified. So I'll tell you what, let me piggyback off of somebody else who's testing or going to the medical exam, and you do it along with them, so that your recruiter is not going out of their way to process somebody who's not eligible or more than likely not going to get approved, like in your case as an RE4. So piggyback on another applicant that is otherwise fully qualified and is expected to go through the process and contract, if that makes sense. 910 Islander says a hair bonnet is majority used for minorities for their hair while sleeping. Would that still be a no? If you're sleeping, you should, nah. If you're sleeping, you could unofficially wear whatever you, not wear whatever you want, but just make sure that it's black or olive green. And if it's at night while you're sleeping, then yes. But as soon as you're up in an official capacity, whether it's fire guard, CQ, or the drill sergeant comes in and wants to like smoke you guys for doing something not inappropriate, but like you didn't follow the directions, or they found somebody sleeping at fire guard or CQ or whatever the case may be, and they want to dust you off and make you do physical training in the form of discipline, then as soon as the drill sergeant walks on, turns the lights on or whatever, just take it off real quick and you'll be fine. But if any other ladies that have already completed or graduated from basic training, you can feel free to chime in if you were able to wear whatever. But some men like to wear the do-rags so they can do whatever with the hair or whatever. But yeah. Appreciate you, Angel. Thank you very much. Merc. ANG to me is the Air National Guard. Some people use ANG for the Army National Guard, but the Army National Guard's acronym is actually ARNG. But yeah. Amber Patterson says, going National Guard, question, I shaved my head to support my family with cancer. When I go to basic, what's the likelihood as a female to be zeroed in on by the drill sergeants? Well, females are now allowed to shave their head, so it's not going to be a big deal and it's not going to be a shocker. But if, let's say, a drill sergeant were to say something to you, just be like, drill sergeant, I actually shaved my head to support my family member with cancer. And I guarantee you the drill sergeant will shut the hell up, probably, hopefully, will apologize to you and won't mess with you thereafter. Okay? That'd be kind of hard to make a big deal about it when someone says that. So you'll be all right. Ismael Mundes says, how's pre-basic? Not sure what you refer to as pre-basic. Are you talking about the National Guard's recruit sustainment program, or are you referring to the future soldier program for the regular Army or the Army Reserve? Let me know, and I'm gonna try to pay attention on my cell phone over there. Christopher asks, can you join the Army if you get your evaluation of your... I don't see anything else, but we already talked about your bipolar stuff. I think that's what you meant. We already addressed that. All right. Kyla says, is there any way to bypass Genesis where MEPS doctors can pull your medical records through your social security number? Is there any way around it? I.e., an applicant almost done with MEPS but had to be rescheduled. Well, if you've already been scheduled for MEPS, your stuff has already been sent through Genesis. So there's no way around it. Oh, I see what you're saying. Rescheduled before Genesis. Now, I cannot condone this, and I don't recommend that you do this per se, because it's what's the word I'm looking for? I'm having a bald moment here. It's when you lie. Can't think of the word I want to use. But with that being said, there have been people that have been trying out this website called LifeLock. And some claim that with LifeLock in place, Genesis can't see the records, even though you sign a medical release form that's in accordance with HIPAA laws. So you could try that. Again, I cannot condone or agree or suggest or tell you to do that, but that's what I've been hearing in some of my DMs on Instagram. So you do with that information as you want, but it's in your best interest to disclose things that are actually diagnosed and documented. Because let's say you do make it now and you get through MEPS and you join, and then later on in your career, but the military finds out about it. In the past, nothing has ever happened. But if it's at the training site and you get caught lying about your medical history, then you're going to get discharged. Yes, they will submit a medical waiver to retain you, but in my experience, they're going to discharge you. Now, if you can get through your initial entry training and they find out about it later on, then 9 out of 10 times they won't discharge you for it. Again, situations dictate, but yeah, just so you are aware, okay? Hilda Vasquez says, what MOS do you recommend for a female looking to join the Army? I'm not really sure how old you are, but I'm always an advocate for actual skill set that's going to help you out post-Army if you're going regular Army, or just having that job experience as a reservist or in the Guard to help you land a job, especially if you're under 21, like 21 years old or younger, because you may not have that work experience or whatever. So having some paid training and experience under your belt as a reservist or Guard or even on active duty, it's going to work dividends for you. And that's what I would recommend. And for me to sit here and say one MOS over the other or certain MOSs, like I kind of don't like that question. Nothing against you. This is just in general, because I don't know you, right? So I don't know what makes you tick, what motivates you, what goals you have, what you're good at, what you're not good at. I don't even know what your line scores are to even know what you're even pre-qualified for based on your test results. And I go a little bit more into detail about this in this video here on what jobs I pre-qualify for after I pass the ASVAB test, but it's also linked down below if you want to check it out. But I say that to say this. What I recommend is that you pass the ASVAB test or qualify for the 09 Mike program, which is a program that helps increase your test scores and oftentimes your line scores as well, affording you the opportunity to qualify for a lot more things. Now, once you pass the test, definitely check out that video. It goes more into detail, but that will tell you what you pre-qualify for. And depending on whether you go in regular Army, Guard, or Reserve, there are other nuances to this whole process. And your recruiter will also filter out that list of MOSs or job skills that you pre-qualify for, right? Based on driver's license, citizenship, medical issues, and so on and so forth. And, you know, all the other stuff I talk about in the video. And what I recommend is you research each one like I described in the video, and you make a well-informed decision based on what your interests are, what you think you see yourself being able to do and enjoy it. If you're more so if you're going regular Army. If you're going Guard or Reserve, in my opinion, the job really doesn't matter because it's literally part-time. 2 days a month, 2 weeks in the summer. In your annual training, those 2 to 3 weeks in the summer is when you typically really do your job. Unless you're in combat arms, who do a lot of training, like fun, hardcore training. More so than say like a combat support unit, okay? But that's just neither here nor there. But check out that video, it goes more into it. But thank you. Eric also says, I want to be a financial management specialist, which is a 36 Bravo, financial management technician rather. Will I have a 9-to-5 work schedule, or how would that go? Yeah, if you're in a finance unit, typically it'll be, I mean, aside from your early morning PT physical training sessions with your units, if you're going regular Army, it is going to be more of a 9-to-5 job for sure. Oh, hang on. Let me come back to you, M Lightning. I got a super tip, I think, from SML. Just want to say thank you so much for supporting the channel. It goes a really long way. I really, really appreciate it. I'm going to try to pay attention to my chats over here on my cell phone off to the side to see if you meant to attach a comment. But again, thank you. You didn't have to. I appreciate you. And have a good night. Sorry, I'm just scrolling up to where I last left off. Here we go. M Lightning. All right, too many questions, not enough likes. Like the video. You know, I like the vibe of M Lightning. I like his vibe. I'm assuming it's a he, but I like this person's vibe. Appreciate you. And definitely, if you have not already, please, it helps out a lot. It tells the YouTube algorithm that people are really digging this video. And it would help me out. So, appreciate it. Sertan Hikes says, I want to go in as an officer with the National Guard. How hard is federal OCS? I hike and climb mountains regularly and run 2 to 3 times a week. I have a bachelor's degree in political science. Oh, then ruck marches won't be an issue with you. It'll be more of an academic thing of just acclimating to a military Army way of doing things and all that stuff with the leadership training that they're going to teach you in OCS. But I talk about the different OCS options within the regular Army, Army Reserve, the National Guard, with only one option being regular Army or Army Reserve, which is the federal OCS at Fort Moore, formerly known as Fort Benning. But the National Guard also has a traditional state OCS program, which is part-time, about 15, 18 months long. And there's usually typically one class per year, and it usually starts around the springtime. And then while you're in that program, if you're really, really good at your Army combat fitness test and your land navigation skills are on point, they may offer you the state accelerated OCS program as described in the video, which is actually 3 weeks shorter than the federal OCS at Fort Benning, or Fort Moore rather. Okay, so definitely go check out that video. And I think all right, so part of me says that federal OCS is the better option because you knock out everything right away, but it's also going to be a lot more challenging, and the graduation rate's a little bit less compared to state OCS. But definitely go check that out. Juarez says, bro. I'm not seeing anything else, but I appreciate you being here. South Jersey Artisan says, Spurs, that's a cave thing. Hang on. For Spurs, that's a cave thing. Once you meet certain criteria and then you do your spur ride, riding a horse, they do different things for a Stetson, Spurs, and Gold Spurs. Yeah, that's pretty much what I heard, but I didn't want to put out bad information. So I do appreciate the assist, South Jersey Artisan. Thank you for that. All right, Nicholas Dookie Hello, Lewis. I am enlisted as an E4 and I am shipping on the 27th of February to Fort Moore, formerly known as Fort Benning. I am 41 years old and my MOS is infantry, and I am kind of nervous about basic training. It's perfectly normal for you or anybody else to feel nervous about Army basic training, especially as an older person at 41. You will be called Grandpa, or Grandpa, because Nicholas is a male name. But with that being said, just do your best, keep your head down, do PT, and take it seriously every day. But trust me, you're going to be fine. All right. Age is literally just a number. If you're physically active, then it shouldn't be that big of a deal. But it is going to be fun. But there's a lot of downtime that doesn't make it as fun. But I'm not infantry, so I don't have any words of wisdom for you. I do know that it is going to be physically and mentally taxing, and yeah, but good luck. Hua freaking Luya. We got Juan Ramirez. He's probably not even here anymore. From the Bronx in the house. Correcto. Cool. Yep. So he's a New York Army National Guard recruiter. Supposed to recruit out of the Bronx, but he's always poaching in my area. No, I'm just kidding. But I'm serious. But yeah, man, appreciate you tuning in. And I'll call you back when I'm done with the stream if you're still here, which I doubt, but just saying. Go West. How can I enlist as an E3? All possibilities. The only way you can be an E3 is college credits, having 48 or more college credits, or a 2-year degree, or referring 2 people into the Army. And that's pretty much it. And maybe the Civilian Acquired Skills Program if eligible. Zephyr says, if you have a college degree, can you most likely talk to a recruiter into getting you E3? As previously described, if you have a 2-year degree, you'll join as an E3. If you have a 4-year degree, you'll join as an E4. Big Pen. All right, so basically dipped for 10 years and have I known anyone who failed MEPS for dental work. If you don't have any more than 30% of issues with your teeth in your mouth, then you should be fine. Majority of the time, it's just a really quick visual from the MEPS doctor. And half the time, they don't even really look at your teeth like that. They just look down your throat. And I don't know how bad your teeth are, but in most cases, it's very rare somebody gets disqualified because of their teeth. And that's just my 2 cents in experience. It's a process. Stay positive. Absolutely. Zephyr also says you most likely won't fail, and you'll have that dental work done at basic. Yes, 100%. You're welcome, Nicholas. Go West. What if I have greater than 20 but less than 30 college credits? I heard I could refer a friend who enlists. I will qualify for E3. Again, if you have 24 or more college credits, you'll join as a E2. Then with the 1 referral, you can get to E3. But if you have 23 or fewer college credits, you're joining as a private E1, fuzzy wuzzy, no rank on your chesty, and 1 referral will get you to E2. Alejandro Moreno says, I am currently on the keto and intermittent fasting diet you recommended. Lost about 19 pounds in 1 month. Thanks a lot. Those of you don't know what he's talking here. Yeah, Alejandro. Yeah. If those of you don't know what he's talking about, I did a video about leveraging a ketogenic diet, reducing your calories, and intermittent fasting strategy, along with drinking a gallon of water and walking 60 to 180 minutes a day, like an hour in the morning, hour in the evening. And this person lost 19 pounds in 1 month. That's freaking awesome. Proud of you, man. Keep up the hard work. That's awesome. I love success stories like that. So I really do appreciate the feedback. Thank you. All right, so Miggs says, thanks for answering. Will the Army aspirate a ganglion cyst on my wrist at reception? My doctor just keeps saying to wear a brace, but it isn't working. I hear they will remove wisdom teeth is why I ask. Yeah, they'll do wisdom teeth, but as far as ganglion cysts on your wrist, they're not going to take care of that there. In fact, I will go as far as to say I wouldn't even bring it up during basic training in AIT. I would wait until you get to your first duty station if you went regular Army, or when you come back if you're in the Guard or Reserve, and then purchase the TRICARE Reserve Select Program, which is kind of like similar to our TRICARE system as a full-time soldier. But once you get it, then get that done at a reasonable cost. Very cheap, but the reason why I say that is if you go to get this taken care of during your initial entry training, you're gonna take the risk of not graduating on time, getting recycled to an earlier phase, worst case scenario, a restart back to day 0 in red phase, in absolute worst case scenario, be medically chaptered out until this is no longer an issue, and it may open up a can of worms. Like, is it malignant? Is it what's the other word? Benign, right? So you don't want unnecessary heat for no reason if you're otherwise good to go. Okay. Zachary Smith says, I'm getting sworn in on Friday. Hua freaking Luya. Congratulations. Hell yeah. Yeah, let's go. Get it. All right, so we got Matthew Meta says, MEP said for me to get a pulmonary functions test with a doctor letter since I got asthma inhaler when I was 13, but I only used it once. Got a full PFT at a pulmonologist, waiting for my doctor to evaluate, and then that'll do. Yes, absolutely. You should be fine. You might not need a waiver. It really depends, but for the Navy, but for everyone who is struggling to join, never give up and get all your medical stuff that you know of, because it's taken me over a year to get here. Swartz, you helped me out. Thank you for the videos. I appreciate that. Glad you find my videos helpful, and I'm glad it's finally working out for you. And more importantly, and so far I have like literally I got like 3 applicants that I'm currently working, that I've been working what feels like forever, and thankfully, thank God, they are like super motivated and dedicated to the cause, and it's refreshing because I wish more applicants were as dedicated to the cause and following through to the end. I cannot tell you how many applicants lose the fire to join. And with this day's generation, a lot of people, like, as soon as they hit any form of resistance, it's like, hey, it's a sign, I'm out. Or they just get tired of waiting. And I understand their frustrations. And it's just very frustrating as a recruiter because we want them to do it. And, I had this one applicant who's been awesome this entire time. He started to talk about maybe not continuing the process because it's discouraging and it's taking so long. But yeah, I gave him a little quick pep talk, and we should be good now. But yeah, so just stay motivated and dedicated to the cause. You want to be in here, right? And you will be in there like swimwear. You just got to do it, okay? Sean Kidwell says, enjoy all your thoughtful videos. Please keep them coming. Can poor credit stall your enlistment? All right, so it depends on your financial situation. Having bad credit score doesn't mean anything. We could care less about your credit score. What we do care about in your credit history are late payments for 30, 60, 90 or more days, charge-offs, collections, write-offs, or whatever, like those types of negative financial history, right? And if you currently have anything in collections, what you need to do is to call up either the collections agency or the creditor that you owe that hasn't gone to collections yet, and come up with a payment plan. And if you're dealing with collections, you're gonna have to negotiate and play hardball. And what I mean by that is you call them up and be like, hey, listen, I know I messed up. I want to get this right. All I can afford is whatever dollar amount you come up with that you're comfortable with as a down payment to show good faith. that you're gonna, make this right, and you come up with a payment plan. Say, hey, listen, I want to come up with a payment plan. All I can afford, like, I don't know what your financial situation's like, but even if it's like $20 a month, and they're gonna ask you for more of a down payment, but stick to your guns, whatever dollar amount you think you can afford in that moment, and realistically choose an amount that you can give them on a monthly basis, and set up automatic payments for that dollar amount in a payment plan. And before you make that first payment over the phone, you say, hey, listen, before I make this payment, I need this in writing. I want you to send me an email at abc@gmail.com. And once I receive it, then we can go ahead and process the payment. But I want this in writing. I want a payment plan that says I'm going to put, let's say, $50 down, and I'm going to pay you $20 a month until this debt is settled. All right. And like I said, it's going to take some negotiating or just sticking to your guns. Don't worry about them telling you, no, we can't do that. We need more. That's not acceptable. Right. Their job is to get as much money as they can out of you. The reason being is, if you're unaware, when it comes to collections, they actually buy the debt from your creditor or your financial institution that lent you the money, or whatever the case may be. They just bought the debt, fractions on the dollar. So let's say you owed $5,000, but they bought the debt at $1,000. So if they can get $1,000 or more out of you in total, then they're in the plus, right? They're going to be making money from you. So that's why they buy it on the fractions of the dollar. So that's it. But yeah, so if that's more in line with the issues that you're running into, which is charge-offs or collections, that is going to prevent you from getting a secret clearance, or definitely a top secret clearance. But as long as you have a payment plan in place and it's not too crazy, then as long as you have the payment plan in place, you can join. But you have to have that payment plan in place, okay? And should not stop you from joining in general, but it really depends on the total amount of debt and the rest of your history and all the other criteria. All right. But yeah. All right. Steven Sims. So regardless of the medical conditions previously diagnosed, if you get cleared by a specialist, 100% recovered and fit for service, what are the chances MEPS will disqualify you? You're still going to get disqualified, and you're more than likely going to need a waiver. So yeah, you have to understand, like, unless you've only done annual medical exams, where it's like just your annual medical exam, then you're going to be fine. But anything other than that, you ever go to the emergency room, you ever go see your doctor for like any type of pain management, behavioral health, mental health, what have you, it is going to disqualify you, and you're gonna have to get all the medical records and jump through hoops and do all these things. So check out this medical waiver guide, because you are more than likely going to need a medical waiver. All right, so check that out. It's linked down below in the description as well. But good luck, you got this. And Bat Boss Jose 12 YT says, smash that like button. Hell yeah, appreciate the support, man. All right, so Jennifer Peralon says, I know I jacked up your name, but I'll just call you Jennifer. I'm 5'4". Will that be an issue with any type of fitness that basic training has? It doesn't matter how tall you are. Honestly, we have people that are like 4'8", 4'9", and they like, I'll tell you what, I should have taken a picture with her, because this was her last drill with us. But I kid you not, I'm 5'8". She's almost like half of my height. Like, almost, for lack of a better phrase, like, or word, dwarf. Like, she's super duper short. We had to do a waiver for her to get in. Not me, but her recruiter. But she made it. And in my opinion, if she can do it, you can do it. And my old boss, she was very, very short. Maybe 5 feet, 4'9", 5 feet, somewhere around there. And yeah, if they can do it, you can do it. It doesn't matter if you're male or female. It's all up in here. Tori, my waiver got approved. I am going to enlist at MEPS on Monday. Hooah freaking Louie. That's what I'm talking about. Hell yeah. Get off my ash says, I am 260 pounds and they are 75 inches in height. I got approved for pre-basic. What should I expect out of that compared to actual basic? I think you're confusing pre-basic to the 09 mic program. which is the Future Soldier Preparatory course, where we help you lose body fat so we can get you down or below no more than 2% of your maximum allowable body fat for your age and gender. So go check out that video, and then I'll tell you everything you need to know about that program. But I think that's what you're referencing for the pre-basic training, and that is pre-basic training, but with a purpose. Tori says, I signed up for the Future Soldier Prep course. There we go. I just posted the link for the video, so go check that out for sure. All right. Wesley says, portions of McCallan says are still operated by NGB or accelerated per recruiter in MS. Portions of. Honestly, I'm not sure what McKellen is, but if you mean like the accelerated course, it depends on your state and which RTI, Regional Training Institute, you're going to go to complete your accelerated OCS course. Vetted says, been waiting for my MOR waiver for 2 weeks now. What's the average wait time? This can fluctuate. Depends on if it's if you're in a National Guard, is it a state level waiver or is it a national level waiver? It depends on the severity of the circumstances and how many applicants are processing. Again, there's so many different variables, but worst case scenario, 90 days. Absolute worst case scenario, 6 months. But typically it's between 30 to 90 days. Okay, closer to like 30 to 45 days. Toria says, signed up for 09. Adrian Smith says, what is the difference between the PICAT and the actual ASVAB? And what does the verification process entail at MEPS? Good question. I actually did a whole video about the PICAT. You can go check this out. And make sure you follow my guidance to the T in this video. All right. The difference between PICAT and the ASVAB is that PICAT is not timed. You just have to complete all the sections within 48 hours, and you can legitimately take your time. Where your error is going to be, you don't want that, because an actual ASVAB is timed. You have 3 hours or less, kind of like SATs. Each section has a specific amount of time that you must answer all the questions, right? Whereas the PICAT isn't. So also, PICAT is not proctored by a DoD civilian or a military member, where the ASVAB is overseen and proctored by a DoD civilian or a military member, making sure and ensuring that you're not cheating. So the verification process, to your question, is you going to MEPS within 45 days to take a verification test. So as long as the system is up and running and you're not one or two of the 10 that get automatically selected or randomly selected to go through the full ASVAB, then you'll take the verification test, which takes typically between 20 and 40 minutes, depending on how fast you complete it. And as long as your responses are consistent with the way you did the PICAT, then you will be awarded the grade that you scored on the PICAT. If the system realizes that you're doing far better or far worse and not consistent with the PICAT results, you will automatically get converted into the full 3-hour ASVAB exam. But check out that video, because there are certain things I want you to follow and all that good stuff to set yourself up for success and to make it more equivalent to how you would do it at MEPS. But make sure that you take the verification test. Like if you do pass it, then make sure you go as soon as possible, because I hear that a lot of the questions that are on the PICAT are going to be shown up on your verification test. So if you forget what was on there, and again, you don't choose the right answer, then you're just opening up a can of worms of, getting pushed into the full version and getting those results. And if it does get pushed into the new version or the full version ASVAB, whatever those new results are, despite your PICAT scores, those are your new scores, and they are for record, not your PICAT. Okay. Tori also said, oh, hang on, skip the question. Braden Newton says, have you seen where the military was thinking about letting people use calculators on the ASVAB? It's been brought up on numerous occasions. They currently have a pilot program. Last time I checked, I believe it was last summer, they said they were doing or planning to do a pilot program, like a study group, again, as previously described earlier in the stream, of people with calculators and without calculators, and they'll make a determination at a later time of whether or not they're going to do that. But yeah, but don't count on that. Don't hold your breath. Tori says, I'm going to receive my shipping day on Tuesday. All right, good stuff. Good luck. Wesley Edwards, what determines where you go for basic training? Good question. So the time that you go to sign your actual contract, the guidance counselor is looking in the system to schedule you for training. And what the system is looking for is a basic training graduation date and the start date of your AIT that are within 2 weeks of each other. If there's only one option that pops up that meets that criteria, then that will be your only option. If multiple options pop up, then you can pick and choose when you ship out, and the locations may vary as well, being that it's Fort Sill, Oklahoma, Fort Moore, Georgia, Fort Sill, Oklahoma, or Fort Leonard in Missouri. All right. The only exception is if you are doing OSA, meaning you are joining to do a combat arms MOS or military occupation specialty, aka job skill, such as but not limited to infantry, Cav Scout, field artillery, military police. Then you'll do one station unit training, and that's straight through, same drill sergeant, same location, all throughout your initial entry training. So hopefully that helps clear things up. Moses Alvarez says, what should I expect out of the National Guard drill as far as what I'll be doing as a 68 Whiskey? That's going to be dependent on the type of unit you're in. Are you in a combat arms unit? Are you in a combat support unit? Are you in an actual medical section where a lot of you are in the same location? Or are you just one of like a handful in the entire unit? So there's too many variables there to know what your experience will be like. But again, when you're in a combat support role in a combat support unit, then typically you're not going to be doing too much hands-on training within your MOS, unlike the combat arms, who consistently, more regularly, and more frequently do train within our MOS. So just throwing that out there. Leland Fartro says, my recruiter wants me to attend monthly training before going to boot camp. Should I? I am currently in college right now, and I am not sure I can afford the time. So I'll put it to you this way. If it's the Future Soldier program from the regular Army or the Army Reserve, you are not legally binded to be there on a weekly basis. You are obligated to complete your occupation. I'm sorry, what do they call it? I'm having a brain fart here. The OPAT, the occupational physical, hang on. OPAT. Yeah, I was right. Occupational Physical Assessment Test, your OPAT, which will test you on the 3 repetition deadlift, a standing long jump, a seated ball toss, and a beep test, I think is what they refer to it as, like shuttle sprints. You basically beat the beep. Pacer test, I think is what it's called. And anyway, that's required before you ship out. But if you're going in the Army National Guard, then yes, you are required to drill on a monthly basis in the Recruit Sustainment Program. It is non-negotiable. Like, think about it. You're a college student. You're joining the military to pay for college, probably. So if you can't go to drill in RSP or as a reservist before you ship out because you're in college, then you shouldn't join at all, because you're gonna have to drill. Like, I don't know. Am I crazy? Like, I don't mean to put you on the spot, Leland, but I'm just saying, like, if you can't give up 2 days a month, then you shouldn't be joining. That's just my 2 cents. But you have a lot to gain if you do. But like I said, it is non-negotiable. Whether you're full-time or part-time, the Army always comes first. Then your personal life, your personal hobbies, personal job, all that stuff. All right? Just throwing it out there for you. And if you didn't know, now you know. Hopefully it works out for you, and I hope you stay. Jay Cruz, how do I get into OCS? Check out this video right here. OCS video tells you the minimum requirements and the different options you have depending on the component of the Army you go into, and that will help you make a well-informed decision, along with some other insights and tips. All right, so we got vibes. I'm taking the ASVAB tomorrow, but I'm terrible at math. What should I do? Hopefully you studied beforehand, but my tips and advice to anybody, what I brief to my applicants before they test is, when in doubt, choose 3. Now, I may be showing my age a little bit, but when I went through high school or throughout school in general, whenever taking a multiple choice test, it always says choose option C. C equals 3, because on the ASVAB test, we choose 1, 2, 3, or 4. Now, on the practice test that we regularly give our applicants to assess where they're at now before we actually schedule them for the test, 3 does score the highest with a 21, which is still not passing, but the others are in the teens or less. Okay, so that's proof in the pudding that 3 is the most commonly used answer on the test. By using all 1s, all 2s, 3s, and 4s, 3 scored the highest. So, when in doubt, choose option 3. Second tip, as you know, each section is timed. So, my advice to you is, in the last 15 seconds or so, if you cannot get to all the questions and make an honest effort to answer them, choose 3, 3, 3, 3, 3 until you've answered them all. Because any question that you don't attempt to answer will automatically be marked wrong. So you have a 25% chance of getting the question right by randomly choosing one, or a 100% chance it will be marked wrong by not even simply trying. Okay. Third tip is paragraph comprehension. Read the question first so you know what you're reading in the paragraph, and you'll quickly realize in all the questions in paragraph comprehension, the answer is going to be found in the first 2 to 3 sentences of the paragraph. Once you find the answer, stop reading. Choose your multiple choice answer and keep it moving. Okay. Those are my tips. Welcome to my TED Talk. Nicholas says, enlisted is part-time. I can transfer to full-time. So if you join part-time and you want to look at full-time opportunities within the Guard or Reserve, check out this video here. I break down a bunch of the options that we currently have for sure. KMS Bismarck IB says, can I join the Army National Guard despite having high spectrum autism? I also had leg surgery in the past. Would I be deemed not fit to serve? That would be correctamundo. You are going to be disqualified, and you're going to have to request an exception to those policies and request a medical waiver. That waiver process video is right here. That will break that down. I did not specifically talk about autism, but in addition to that video, you're going to want to get a copy of your IEP and your 504 plan. You're going to want to get all your records that deal with autism, like all the way up through your original diagnosis to an updated evaluation and assessment of your autism, and hopefully obtain a all clear letter. And I would definitely say get an official high school and your official college transcript, if you have one, to show that you had good grades. Now, in IEP or 504 plan, if you just had some minor things like maybe a little extra time to take the test or small groups or just a quiet atmosphere to take the test, then that shouldn't be much of a problem, and that waiver should get approved as long as you can otherwise unassisted pass the ASVAB test and the medical exam. Now, if you were in a small group setting with special teachers teaching you in a special way, and you had extra time in the test, and you got the questions read to you, and you had a quiet space or whatever, then you're a no-go at this station, unfortunately, and you're not going to be able to join. So if you are a high-functioning, high-spectrum autistic person, there is a possibility that you could get it. Furthermore, you're going to want to get 3 character references of teachers, professors, employers, meaning like your supervisors and colleagues or other students that can attest that you, for the most part, function as normal person as you can, as a normal person would. And all this together will be factored into the decision-making process of the medical waiver authority to make a determination of whether or not they will grant you the waiver. Now, these are going to be tough. You are going to have to source all these records and get updated evaluations. But if this is something you definitely want to do, I implore you to do your research and to actually follow through with it and stay patient and get everything that you need to improve the probability of your medical waiver to get approved. All right, but good luck to you, and may the waiver gods forever be in your favor. As far as the knee surgery or leg surgery, I'm not concerned about that as long as you get all the other records I talk about in the video, along with the updated evaluations and stuff. So definitely go check that out. It's worth every second to watch that. All right. Hey, Sarge, checking in from Ace Poppy 60. Appreciate you. Thank you. And Dr. Pooh, I'm going to come back to you. I got a super chat coming in from Janice. Hang on. Here we go. Here we go. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. All right. Appreciate the super chat. Thank you so much. It really does go far on the channel. And again, I thank you so much. Definitely did not have to do that. But with that being said, I am finally going to Fort Sill on the 26th. Any advice before going? My concern is weight, walking, and PT test. My 2 mile is around 26 minutes. All right, so you got to shave off at least 5 to 6 minutes, which is totally doable by the time you graduate. So what would I recommend? I recommend you definitely watch this video, because not only do I have fitness tips in here, but I also have other things that you should be factoring into your preparation for basic training. But definitely walk every single day. I would not run every single day. I would say the best way to go about it, I would definitely say run 3 times a week. And on the days that you don't run, you walk. And then you incorporate strength training, and you can keep it real simple. Push-ups, sit-ups, squats. Push-ups, sit-ups, squats. Now, it sounds like you don't have a basic level of fitness, so that would be what I would suggest to you. I do have a workout plan and some other things I talk about in the video that you can explore and factor that into your decision-making process and what game plan you're going to use to leave on the 26th. But the video is going to talk about all the things that I would recommend to you. But I think you're going to do just fine. All right. Even at 26 minutes, when you're in a training environment, you're going to be nervous, and that's going to work in your favor. Think about it. When you're nervous, what happens? You're heightened, you're excited or anxious, and you just have a lot of energy that you wouldn't normally have. And I know and remember that when I used to be nervous during the PT test, I performed 10 to 15% better than when I was by myself. It's a mental thing that, if leveraged in an effective way, will help push you to better results. Okay. I don't even get nervous at PT tests anymore. So to me, that's a disadvantage. I'd rather be nervous because it does help you on the test. So trust me. My advice to you is do the best that you can to prepare yourself before you leave. We're looking at maybe a couple weeks. So when you get there, make sure that when you do your organized PT sessions in the morning, that you actually put forth honest effort. Don't cheat, don't slack, put real effort. And like maybe not in the beginning during red phase, I wouldn't recommend doing PT in the evenings unless you feel like you can physically handle it. But do like every hour in the hour when you have your breaks, get down, knock out 5 to 10 push-ups, 5 to 10 sit-ups, 5 to 10 squats. Like today will be push-ups, tomorrow will be sit-ups, next day will be squats. And you just do that throughout the day. And collectively, like compound effect, it will add up and assist you in building your strength and endurance up later on. And that's what I would recommend for you, right? Even when the drill sergeant's not looking, make sure that you stick to a strict form. Even if you can't do any more push-ups, hold yourself in a plank position, right? Don't just sag in the middle or drop to your knees. Try to do your best to hold yourself in a push-up position as one example, okay? Depends on what you're working on, but yeah, that's what I would recommend to you. Good luck in basic training. Keep your head down. Do what you're told. Stay motivated. Remember your why. And never cheat yourself. I don't care if you're down to your last dollar. Always bet on yourself. All right. But appreciate you supporting the channel, and thank you so much. All right. So Dr. Pooh, I need degrees to join the Army as a chaplain, but will that student debt prevent me from joining the Army as a chaplain? So as long as your student debt is not in default, or you are missing payments, then you're fine. You could have as much student debt as you want, as long as you're able to pay off, or not pay off, but pay your debts on a regular basis and not be in default or miss payments. All right, so it's like one of those acceptable debts as long as it's either deferred or current. It's only when it's in default that it's going to become an issue. So hopefully that answers your question. All right, so Daryl Wilson says, just went to my first RSP. That was a really great program. Go Guard. That's what I'm talking about. Good stuff. Glad you had a good experience. Eric, does my question get skipped if I used B@LD word? Bald word? Because I got skipped before Jennifer. Oh, I probably do have the word bald blocked because I had some bro vets that were picking on me and hurting my feelings. But yeah, I can see it now because you're using the @ sign. So yeah, that word is probably banned on my channel. But my apologies if it's not showing up. But it's not showing up on my end because I've literally been going line by line. But I appreciate you and thank you. All right, so Braden says, if I switched over from another branch of service, will I keep that rank, and will the drill sergeant know about when I get to basic training? So once they get to the point where they're going to give you your initial counseling within the first 72 hours of reporting to basic training, they will know that you're prior service. But with that being said, if you are in E4 and below, yes, you're definitely going to keep your rank. If at time of enlistment, they authorize you to come in as an E5 or an E6, then yes, you'll come in at that rank. So whatever you join as is the rank that you'll be leaving for basic training. So I don't know if you're going to the Guard, Reserve, or regular Army. Regular Army, I believe, sends you straight to basic training, but I do know that the Army National Guard's Army Integration Course, AIC for short, is a 5-week prior service program that is set up to be a gentleman's course where they don't treat you like a normal initial trainee going through Army basic training. They treat you with dignity and respect and get you through the most important parts of basic training to re-qualify you and to integrate you into the Army and graduate. All right, so basically you're skipping red phase, which is the hardest part of a normal basic trainee, but you're gonna basically start with weapons qualification and go through all that stuff. All right, but it's that program is 5 weeks. And because that program did so well the first iteration or two with the National Guard, that they opened it up to the regular Army and Reserve. So as a prior service member, I would recommend that you definitely ask to do the AIC, Army Integration Course. Okay, one of these days I'll do a video on it, but definitely see if you can request it and do that versus going through the basic training experience. But yeah, that's my 2 cents. The highway something or other says, can you enlist with college credits as an E4? Yes, if you have a 4-year degree, yes. If you just have credits and you have not been awarded a 4-year degree or a master's, then you'll be joining as an E3. Just saying. Aaron Barlow, what's up, man? Haven't seen you in a minute. Says, shipping on Monday. Would gladly link and interview with you after basic. I'm the old head who took forever to get my waiver. Yeah, I'm totally down for sure. I was supposed to do one with this prior service Marine that actually lives near me. I think he leaves on, I think it's tomorrow. I think he said the 8th or the 10th. I'll text him tomorrow. But yeah, I was supposed to do a podcast with him. But yeah, we'll take it from there. But yeah, I'm totally down. I want to start doing some podcasts with other people. So yeah, I'm totally down for it if you're interested. Thank you. Tommy Slays says, I ship to basic on February 20th. Good luck. Make us proud. Do great things. All right, so we got Audacity that says, I plan to join the Texas National Guard soon as a combat medic. As National Guard, I believe, we get full housing allowance the entire time at basic, AIT, and our job schools as long as we apply for it correct. All right, so if you are married or as a single soldier and you're trying to qualify for housing allowance, you have to have a legitimate lease or a mortgage to get it. And if you do not have dependents, married or kids, then you'll get it at the single rate. But if you are married, you will get it at the dependent rate, basically with a spouse or kids, which is a little bit more money. All right, so that's pretty much how that works, okay? But you have to have a lease or a mortgage. Cypher Demon says, evening, for a 25 Bravo, do you know what length of relevant employment or what certificates would be eligible for promotion under the ACASP? The only two off the top of my head is 88 Mike Motor Transport and 68 Whiskey Combat Medic. All right, so for the motor transport, as previously described earlier in the stream, you have to have certain CDL licenses and possibly experience that the schoolhouse will assess and approve or disapprove your request. And for 68 Whiskey Combat Medic, you need to have the National Basic EMT certification as well. But again, they added a whole bunch of new MOSs. I'm not too familiar with them. Honestly, didn't really look at it, but those are just two I could think of off the top of my head. All right, but definitely check with your recruiter. Ethan Huffman says, how hard is it to get an IEP or 504 waiver? I pretty much described that maybe 5 or 10 minutes ago. If you still need me to rehash that out, I'll give you a more condensed version, but if you don't mind going back 5 or 10 minutes, I talked about it then. All right, but yeah. All right, Daryl Wilson, should I go to officer? I think he meant or NCO. Listen, if you have the degree and you're otherwise eligible for OCS and you feel like you want to be truly a leader, then go into OCS. We need good leaders as officers. But if you feel like you want to be more in the trenches and more hands-on, then go in as an enlisted and work your way up to be a non-commissioned officer. Tori, 5'7", 148 pounds, scored a 30 on the ASVAB. I was unaware of the future soldier prep course until I met the Army recruiter because I was previously disqualified for the Navy for an allergy. All right, cool. Yeah, so 09 Mike program is a great program. They have over a 98% graduation rate. I'm dropping the 09 Mike program video down below in the chat box. It's also linked down below. And yeah, so good luck. Hopefully your waiver gets approved. The highway also says, can you enlist with a college? Oh, we already talked about that. Angel Cantu says, my question is, I joined the Marine Corps and got discharged with an uncharacterized discharge on January 25th. Can I still join the Army? So it depends on the narrative reason for separation, the SPD code, and your re-enlistment code. But if you were other than honorable, is definitely going to require a waiver. So it's going to depend on your discharge packet, and there's so many variables that could go with that. Let's say you got medically chaptered out, whatever. So you would get two waivers. One for your administrative waiver, being prematurely discharged from the military or being discharged for uncharacterized discharge, rather. Let's say it was for the medical reason, like I said, then you would need a medical waiver on top of that. And if you accumulated new criminal charges, then that could be a moral waiver that we could add to the list as well. So have some dialogue with your recruiter, send them your DD-214 or your discharge orders or NGB-22 if you're from the Reserve Guard, and see what your options are from there. But your local recruiter could definitely help you out with that. All right. Super Friday. ASVAB math is hard without a calculator. I agree, hands down. Juan Mendoza says, I want to go to the Texas National Guard as an infantry person with option 40 contract and go to airborne. Any tips? You're gonna have to talk to your active duty recruiter to see if they have any airborne slots in our airborne unit type things. I don't know anything about that because we don't have option 40 here in my state in the New York Army National Guard. So definitely reach out to an active duty recruiter and find out what your options are from there. And if South Jersey Artisan is here, maybe he could chime in on that. But no, Texas Army National Guard. Yeah, so that would not be an active duty Army thing. But I know option 40 is for regular Army, but maybe Texas has that as an option. So I would definitely say reach out to your local Texas Army National Guard recruiter and see what your options are. We don't have that in my state. All we have is 11 Bravo. We don't have any airborne units or special forces units. Okay, but definitely go check that out and let me know. Direct message me on Instagram. I can link you up. I got a whole bunch of Texas recruiters following me on Instagram, so I might be able to hook you up with somebody that's in your area. All right, so at TEAM SWARTZ on Instagram, or here's the link. All right, James Hennigan says, do you still get BAH if your spouse doesn't PCS with you? I'm currently reserved and might switch to active. Good question. So what ends up happening is, yes, whether or not you get the BAH rate of the duty station or if you get BAH rate of the home of record where your spouse is, I'm not really sure. We'd have to look into the updated regulations, and that's forever changing. But yes, she will get the you will get the BAH to pay for her housing or their housing, and you'll stay in bachelor barracks or regular barracks on post. You will not be able to get your own apartment or anything like that. All right, so there's that. Good luck to you. Sorry to hear that spouse does not want to follow you. Garlic, if the MEPS doctors notice something in the pharmacy records, but you get a doctor to sign a not stating that nothing is wrong with, hang on, let me read this because, yeah. Yeah, you're still gonna need to get an updated evaluation, tests, and whatever, and all clear letters, regardless, for sure. But definitely check out my medical waiver guide right here, and then I'll walk you through the whole process. All right. So we got Tommy Slay says, any tips for basic training at Fort Moore? All my tips are gonna be do what you're told, be in a correct uniform, have a positive mindset, lean on your battle buddies, take care of your battle buddies, and don't take it personal. Right? They're gonna be, the drill sergeants are a little bit more harsher there, and the blue discs mean that they're emotional support drill sergeants, so they understand what you're going through, but just don't take it personal. They're not yelling at you, they are yelling at the uniform. They are training you and transitioning you from a civilian into a soldier. So just do your best, keep your head down, do what you're told, and if you don't know what's going on, just look to your left and right and do what everyone else is doing, because you're all going to be doing the same exact thing. But yeah, it's a little more intense, and you're pretty much going to be treated almost like you're in red phase the entire time while you're there. So that kind of sucks. And pro tip, do everything you can to graduate on time. So for those who are going, we don't have Rangers in New York. I keep forgetting that option 40 is Ranger. There you go. Yeah. So, unlike somebody like myself who's combat support as a human resources specialist, I went through basic training and then advanced individual training, or AIT for short. And if I get recycled in basic, I can get recycled to an earlier phase or day 0 restart. And if I'm in AIT, I could get recycled to the beginning of AIT. Whereas in OSA, one station unit training, you could be in black or gold phase, almost about to graduate. And if you mess up or something goes south, you could get restarted to day 0 of basic training, the beginning of OSUTs, not the beginning of black phase. Okay, so just work to the wise, just do everything you can to graduate on time with your peers. The freshman, showing love. All right, currently am interested in 68 golf. I think that's patient administration, if I'm not mistaken, or behavioral health specialist. But I have a certificate as a medical administrator assistant at the moment. Would this help a recruiter get me this MOS? No. You have to have the line scores for it, not any type of civilian certs or anything like that, but you have to have the line scores for it and be otherwise eligible for that MOS. But yeah, so you got to take the ASVAB test and the medical exam, and your recruiter will let you know if you qualify for it. Now, if you're going active duty and you're otherwise qualified for that, and let's say at time of enlistment that's not available, just come back another day until it is available, because it's very, very important that if you're going regular Army full time, that you get a job or MOS that you feel like you're going to enjoy and be good at, and don't settle for something that you know for a fact that you're not going to be interested in it. You're just going to be miserable for the next 2 to 4 years of your life while on active duty. But if it's Guard and Reserve, don't worry about it too much, but you may or may not have that in your area. So check out my video about the different jobs within the Army National Guard and Reserve and regular Army, and you'll be good. All right, coming into the chat box right now. David says, can you join the Army National Guard if you had asthma when you were 14? I don't have asthma anymore, and I am 21. Yes, it's a possibility that you can get a waiver. I talk about it specifically in this video about my U.S. Army MEPS medical waiver guide with the best tips, insights, and all that good stuff. But yeah, it is a possibility with an approved waiver for sure. Okay. Prince Arthur says, do you recommend going to BLC before going to active duty as an E4? Yes, absolutely. If at all possible, try to go to BLC before you leave. Now, don't tell your unit that you're thinking about going active duty, because they're just not going to send you to school knowing that it's a waste of money, and they could just send another one of their soldiers that's actually going to stay in the unit. All right. So just word to the wise. Bob Jim, how long will it take to get a waiver for open bite overbite? If you're going National Guard, it's about a 2-week turnaround. It's probably more or less in all components of the Army, less than 30 days. Lately, it's been like I had a medical waiver approved within a week. Like I submitted the waiver. Well, the GCs finally submitted it on Thursday of last week in the afternoon, but it got approved today. So I would say 1 to 2 weeks, and that's pretty fast. Someday, my previous one was same day. But yeah, so it really depends. James Hannigan says, another question. If you are currently Army Reserve as a Specialist E4, am I allowed to go to Special Forces Qualification course as Army Reserve, either through Special Forces Reserve is National Guard? All right, so Army Reserve does not have Special Forces. They don't have any combat units other than this one singular infantry unit that moved from whatever island to the state of Washington. That is the only infantry unit they have. Now, if you want to go Special Forces, you're going to have to go either A, regular Army full-time, or try out, not try out, but switch to the National Guard and then try out for Special Forces, because the Reserve just simply don't have Special Forces. All right. Isaac Hammond, I'm coming back to you. Okay. Janice, thank you so much for the super chat. I appreciate you more than you know. And she says, just wondering if the Air Force, I don't know what BMT is, but basic training, basically, really different hardship wise. I passed BMT, but never did basic training. So this makes me worried. So honestly, to be perfectly honest with you, basic training is designed for you to be successful. As long as you care, you give an F, and you put forth honest effort, you're going to be just fine. Just keep your head down, do what you're told, be in the correct uniform, do what everyone else is doing, push yourself every single day, okay? Now, you will be successful. Trust me, trust the process. Although drill sergeants are going to be rough around the edges, maybe a little rude at times, or be perceived as being rude and sometimes actually rude, but at the end of the day, they do genuinely want you to pass. The fact that you care tells me, speaks volumes, and lets me know that you are going to be successful. All right, so don't worry about it too much. Harness, redirect that energy in a positive way, and you will do just fine. Okay. And Eric, I got skipped again. I'm going line by line. you might be using a word that's blocked and it's not showing up on my end for some reason. But I have been answering some questions that you've been dropping. And I don't know why you think I'm getting that I'm skipping you, but to my knowledge, I have not. Where am I? Oh, here we go. All right. So Isaac Hammond, what do you think about 74 Delta? I think that's a very good MOS. And to be perfectly honest with you, you're going to get so many certifications and experience that if you want to go into the civilian sector to do like any type of like hazmat or anything like that, one of these days I want to bring on somebody that is 74 Delta that transitioned to the civilian sector. All I know is you get a whole bunch of certificates, so much so that you might even walk out with a 2-year degree with the courses that you do. But with that being said, I think it's a phenomenal and a really, really good MOS. But appreciate you and thank you so much. And Eric, this is the last comment that I see on my end. I just scrolled up while I was giving my response to the last one there, and you were using the word bald, but you used the @ right here. So if you posted something after this, it's not showing up on my end, and you're using something that is being blocked for whatever on my end. So I'm not skipping you, but you are important, and I want to help you out. So you can always direct message me on Instagram at Team Swartz, and I'd be more than happy to answer your question. It won't probably be well, it's definitely not blocked there because I haven't figured out a way to block certain keywords on there, but yeah, I got you there. Okay. All right, so we got Mike Williams with the hello from the 832nd. Alrighty, I don't know what happened there, but I'm back like Slim Shady. And Janice, you are very, very welcome, and I thank you. You didn't have to give me a super chat to let me know that, but I do appreciate you, and you're very, very welcome. All right, so where was I? All right, so scrolling down to, sorry, I'm just trying to look at where I last was. Okay. Yeah, the Ordnance Battalion. Channel member too, Mike Williams. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for being a channel member. EKD123. Do you think that they will reduce the entry standard at any point for mental health with the rise in depression, ADHD, and anxiety medication? A lot of people went on meds during the pandemic. To be perfectly honest with you, once Genesis came out, Genesis forced DOD and the United States Army to reassess the pre-accession standards, and they have already made leaps and bounds to allow people with that in their history to get approved waivers to join. Will they ever get to a point where a waiver won't be required? No, a waiver will always be required. Unfortunately, it is what it is. So just do what you can to get the necessary documentation, and you should be good to go from there. All right. Daryl Wilson says, I can't shave with multiple blades. Do they sell razor blade at basic training? Yes, they sell razor blades, but if you mean like a Gillette single razor, no, you're not allowed to do that in basic training. But I'm not quite sure if I understand your question correctly, because you said I can't shave with multiple blades, but can you buy razors? So I don't know what type of razor you're looking for, so direct message me on Instagram, because I'm about to wrap this up in a few minutes here, but I got you. Eric, it's cool. I totally get it. My hair follicles are challenged and I need to shave every 2 days. Will I be able to do that at basic training? Only after you get an approved shaving profile. So you're gonna have to shave every single day, baby bottom smooth, get bumps, and then go on sick call and the doctor will assess your skin condition and your bumps and make a determination how often and how you will implement your shaving profile, whether it's shave like normal with a razor every other day, or with an electric razor, or with the gel that melts your hair off your face, whatever the procedure is. And you'll have that conversation with the doctor at the time. But once you get an approved shaving profile, yes, in accordance with the shaving profile, that's what you'll execute. All right. Janice, is it possible to get injured during basic training? Yes. During PT? Yes. It does happen, unfortunately, but just do your best to not get injured. All right. So, Tommy, is there anything that I can possibly do to help increase the odds of DMPM waiver approval? I think that's moral. I have not done a video on that, but with no context, I don't know how to help you. But a strong applicant statement, and from your last offense till now, what have you done that's meritorious? Did you earn a degree? Did you land a good job, got promoted? Did you establish a career? Did you get married? Did you earn any type of licenses or certificates, or did something worthwhile in your life to allow them to be like, oh, okay, this guy is doing great things. We'll consider him, give you a favorable decision from there. All right. And let's see. L Cactus says, in the National Guard, will every MOS be called up for a national emergency like civil unrest, or only some of the MOSs? It doesn't matter. When it comes to state activations for something like that, it's irrelevant what your MOS is. Anybody and everybody can do it. Audacity says, do you think that I'd be able to go to airborne and jump often as a 68 whiskey? My initial choice was 92 Romeo, so I could guarantee it, but I want something more transferable to the civilian side, but I really want airborne. That is definitely going to be something more that's active duty, and or the states that are in the National Guard that has airborne units. But we don't have any in my state, so I can't intellectually respond to that because I don't know. The best I could do is reach out to recruiters that have airborne units to find out if it is MOS specific, or do you got to be like 11 Bravo and airborne? I'm not really sure, but I could definitely look into it. Direct message me on Instagram at TEAM SWARTZ. Okay. Have a question. Can you please divulge on 91 Charlie MOS Army? Whatever I divulge is literally going to be going to Google, typing in MOS 91 Charlie, and reading the description on nationalguard.com and goarmy.com, and maybe watching a YouTube video or two, because I am not 91 Charlie qualified. I really don't know much about it, but that would be how I would recommend that you research it. Okay. And good luck to you. Are there any benefits to being married in the National Guard? Yes, you could purchase, when you're part-time, family health coverage, dental, and life insurance. And let's see, when you're ever activated on orders for 30 days or longer, you'll get housing allowance. Garlic, for some reason, all I see is note with an asterisk, nothing else. Ethan Huffman says, for my EEP, I have reading disability, but I am all normal classes, and I am dual enrollment for law enforcement program. How hard would it be to get a waiver? It really depends on your IEP and the accommodations that they give to you. So, like, if you're getting questions read to you and more time on the test, it's just the more accommodations you have, especially the more serious ones, it significantly decreases the probability that your medical waiver will get approved. It's very, very tough. All right. But if you go to somewhere in the beginning, not beginning, but somewhere in this stream, I gave a more elaborate response. I just don't have the time to do it at this time because I'm about to wrap things up. All right. But I think I am going to wrap it up right now. I have to go help my wife out with the kids, so appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will be here, maybe not next week because it's Valentine's Day on Wednesday, so happy Valentine's Day. appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you have questions, feel free to direct message me on Instagram at Team Swartz, or shoot me an email at teamswartzmedia@gmail.com. I will get to you within the week, if not by the end of the weekend. So I am definitely willing to help you. You just have to send me a message. I will definitely respond to every single comment posted on this channel. So if you want to chat, drop it in the comments. That's cool too. Not here in the chat because I won't be here anymore right after I close this out. But I will get to you. I promise you. If I don't know the answer, I will find the answer for you. I know a lot. I don't know everything, but I will get you the answer. So with that being said, thank you so much. Stay blessed, be good, and have a good night.